Got something a little bit new. We're going to be doing a new series. Seemed to go over well last time when I was playing some games and doing some analysis. I've been studying the games of a few Grandmasters, and basically I'm going to show you the process that I personally use when I'm playing some new stuff. So I'm going to be trying out some new lines in these videos. I've started the chess.com account, a new one at 1200, and basically I'm going to play the game, and if I lose because I don't know the theory, I'm going to show you the process that I go through about learning it, do some game analysis, etc. So we're going to be knocking out these videos short and sweet, chessable style. So let's go ahead and get right in to game one. And with white, I'm going to be playing a d4 repertoire. And with black against e4, I'm going to go with Sicilian, specifically Sveshnikov type stuff. And against d4 and pretty much everything else, a Queen's Gambit decline type structure. So I'm already having to make a decision here, and I think I'm going to go with Catalan structures, because I definitely, with this specific move order, I'm not sure exactly what to do, so I'll be taking a look at that after the video and giving some ideas. But we've already gotten to a position which seems relatively okay. I'm not too worried if, for instance, c5. So I like my position here for the long term. I'm thinking about ideas like rook c1 to pressure what's going on here, and then knight c to e5, and just see what it is. The advantage I really have here is his bishop's kind of bad. So after a6, I feel like he wants to play b5, but it could be very accommodating if he allows this. So let's just take there first and keep the pressure on the rook. And if rook a7 or rook b8, we have knight c6, which is going to hit the queen and the rook. And that should be good enough for a substantial edge, and maybe even a resignation. Nah, he's not going to resign. It's not very fun for him, though. What is he going to do? All right, give me that one. And give me that one. And now, there's lots of ways to play here, but I am simply going to play defense first, hold the d-pawn, and then I'm going to shut down play, double up, maybe even get the gun going on the c-file, and that should be it. Let's go ahead and clip that guy, because without him he can't do much. Tickle on the d-pawn, and pile, pile, pile on the c-pawn. And as long as my king side doesn't get opened up and my king's completely safe, this game is 100% over, because there's no way for him to hold the weaknesses. Let's go ahead and shut that down. No h4, none of that nonsense. And then that should be all she wrote here. So there's really no way for him to get to me, and g5's not going to work. Let's go ahead and go queen c7 with the idea of queen e5 check, and trying to force this thing to be done. Because even if I allow some checks via queen d1 after king g2, he has no subsequent check. So queen e7, threatened by mate type ideas. So what's most forcing here? Queen e8 check, and that should be pretty good. Let's do that mate. All right. So that was game one. Now I'm going to go back and let's go into analysis mode. Ooh, getting trophies. All right. Ooh, that may be a bit much in analysis mode. There's got to be a better way to do that. If I'm in here, all right, you guys can see that. Now, can I go back and make moves? All right, so here is the first question, and I'm going to use the ChessBase app on my phone. something that I highly, highly recommend. Especially, it's different between Android and Apple users, because I've had a lot of my students go, well, you said it's like $6. It's much better on Android for some reason. I don't know, user-friendly, just the way they design the app, etc., etc. But I'm just going to go through to the opening here. And with this specific move order, it gives black a lot of options here. I mean, bishop e7 is probably going to transpose back into either the closed or the open, which I'm going to be playing the open when I'm playing black. And then we have this d takes c4 move here, which is very popular. Like the move orders that I typically play with 1c4 and 1 knight f3 when I'm going into the Catalan avoids a lot of the sidelines, which is why recently in my book on opening oddities, I either wanted to recommend the closed or the open. And after really analyzing and looking at a lot of the modern text, I wasn't satisfied with the positions that black was getting in the closed. So I opted for the open, and I based the repertoire off of Grandmaster Rajabov, and specifically like his World Cup repertoire. I was really, really impressed with how solid he was with black, especially in the Queen's Gambit. So a lot of my work that has went into opening oddities was from his direct games with computer analysis from that point to check everything out. So bishop b4 check, I did react the right way with bishop d2, and typically this is a stutter step at this point, either going bishop d6 or bishop e7. And it's interesting in the Grandmaster Repertoire series that, like, the reason, for instance, bishop d6 immediately is not a good move is because white's going to play with his plan knight c3, knight d2, and then e4, and I'm going to be tickling on the bishop, and you don't want to give up the bishop in the open position. And that was covered by a rook. Now, this is an interesting line, and I remember I had it in my notes for my students. Ding Liren played it, I believe, in a game against Gelfin, where it was bishop b4 check, bishop d2, then bishop d6. And we don't have that idea to play knight c3, knight d2, e4. So this is actually completely fine for black, and you can play for a Slav-like plan with e5. But most players go back to e7. And you go, well, why do the stutter step at all? In a lot of Catalan positions, this bishop develops to b2. And with it on d2, it basically only gives you one scheme of development later to play bishop f4 and play in that way. And it's just maybe I make him uncomfortable, maybe I don't type situation, I think. But with my opponent capturing on d2, knight b takes d2, castles, bishop g2, and he played knight c6, but already, to give you the stats, white wins what looks like over 75% of the games in the database. And just from an intuitive standpoint, looking at the position, like we saw in the game, he had sincere difficulties with developing his bad bishop. I mean, after writing a book on the French defense, like, seeing that bishop hurts my feelings. So there's no real good way to try to develop that bishop at this point, and that's what causes issues. Because if you're going to give up this bishop, your good bishop, via b4, you would rather have the pawn structure with a pawn on d6, knight d7, and then e5 to get your bishop out, or to play b6, bishop b7. And this is a common theme seen in the Nimzo-Indian defense. So, looks like the opening went well that time. We'll see in the next video, but hopefully you're going to enjoy this series, because I'm going to do what I do best, which is not play, but talk about opening stuff. Enjoy!